What's up, Dr. Jim? How you doing?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet?
I don't know yet. I went to get the link that you were posting, and I lost my mind.
Yeah, I posted. I just shared it real quick while it was running. The intro was running, and trying to get all that taken care of. Still got a couple more I need to hit up. But yeah, it's been a while since we've talked.
Yes, sir. Beck, we were just talking about how we haven't been talking much.
Right. Trying to get everybody here. Well, this is our third episode. It's your first one to join us.
It's your third. It's the first one I've showed up for.
I know you've had a lot of issues going on, and that kept you from joining in those first two.
It kept me from a whole lot of stuff, but I hope I'm broken out of that now.
Yeah, well, I guess you might have passed it on to me. I hurt my weeks ago at work, so I got to go to the doctor sometime this week and find out what they're going to do. I'm hoping it's rehab, maybe. I'm fearing surgery, which is going to put me out for at least 4 weeks.
Wow.
Not looking forward to that. So anyway, I'll see what happens. It ain't my first rodeo with my knees. I've had 2 meniscus surgeries on my right, and I've had 1 on my left, and I guess it's time for the left one to have its second one. So anyway,
you need to find an easier job, dude.
Just I got to think about it the other day, and it's just the all right, we got Nick and Patricia. Hey, Patricia, I hope everything's well with y'all. What's up, Nick? But I got to think about it the other day, it's like I'm having so much problem out of my knees, and it's just years of because I played football in school, I ran track, and I've been in the martial arts since I was 10. So it's just
wow,
years of putting my knees and my body through stuff. And
well, if you think about it, the martial arts strength thing has probably prevented you from having 6 meniscus tears.
Well, we do a lot of pivoting and twisting and turning on our knees and stuff, and I'm sure
you're also doing a lot of conditioning type things.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask your age, but I would guess
I'm 51. I'm 51.
My 75-year-old knees would not be where they are if I were in your place doing what you've done. Uh-oh.
Either I'm breaking up or you're breaking up. It's probably me.
Well, your side froze. My side never freezes because I'm right here.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to tell, but your glass was up like this for maybe 4 or 5 seconds.
Well, it's just my tea.
I thought you were real thirsty. I don't know.
How's it going, Rich? So, yeah, I mean, it's just years of putting my body through abuse, and not to mention the fire department. You know, we're constantly up and down, up and down.
Yep.
I got, here we go. Same age as I am and have the same condition. So, anyway, I guess we'll get on tonight's topic. We got about an hour, so we actually have 5 people in here. It's a pretty decent thing that over the past couple we've had. Hopefully, everybody will stay. And I'm gonna try to catch everybody's comments and all that questions. I have to kind of put my glasses down to read. I'm trying to keep it off the screen because it causes a glare. Dr. Jim's not so much, I guess. So tonight we're going to be talking about spirit boxes, preferably the SB7 and SB11. And before we kind of get into discussion about it, everybody has their own opinion about the way they investigate or what equipment they use, and to each his own. These are just kind of our personal opinions on what we feel about a certain the spirit boxes. Me personally, I hate using SB7s or 11s. I hate because they're just so dang noisy. That white noise is just, it drowns everything else out. Far as I've used the 7 more than I have the 11. We used to have 2 7s and 1 11. I think we got 1 7 left. Very rarely do we actually bring it out because one, it's not my personal preference to use one because it's just so noisy, and in my opinion, it's too manipulative. Get that word out. There's too many other things to be picked up from the spirit box. You got radio traffic, you got CBs, you have walkie-talkies, just many different things that can bleed over and get caught in that as being spirit manipulation and a spirit coming across. And I'm not saying that they can't, but there's that that possibility of it not being paranormal that keeps me from really wanting to use it that much. Because if I get something over there, then I'm like trying to figure out what it's saying. Number 2, when I do catch something, in the past when I have and I've caught something come over, I'll look at the frequency, and I'll also do a time in my head, and I'll see if it's repeating at that same frequency or that same time period. And if that's the case, then to me it's radio traffic. So, what's your opinion on that, Dr. Jim?
The difference between your glasses and my glasses is I've got a special non-glare coating on mine.
Okay.
Because I spend so much time with my students on video that it got real confusing for them and me because I couldn't see when my eyes were even open.
Let me hold that up there for a minute. Yes, it would be, but there again, really depends on what you feel it's saying as response to your question. That would fall into the intelligent responses. Now, I've seen some spirit box usage where, on videos and stuff, where it's posting up the, what it's saying, and sometimes I can hear that, and sometimes I don't hear that at all.
Yeah.
There's, I don't know, it's kind of like the EVP thing. If I tell you, hey, this is what I heard on this EVP, and then you're going to hear the same thing because I basically do what?
I said no question.
Yeah, so you're going to hear the same thing I just said. And when I've always presented EVPs out, I always ask, what do you think it's saying?
Yeah.
And then you'll start getting kind of different responses from different people. And I'll say, well, I think it's saying this. And it's even back over the hills thing. We've got a few EVPs on there, and what I'm hearing that we've had for many years on some of these EVPs, like Ernie Pack, I let him listen to one of them, and what we were thinking they were saying, it's her eyes, which we actually picked up at in 502. He said, I wonder if it's saying it's all lies. And I said, that would make a lot more sense than something about her eyes.
Right.
The whole situation there with the lies and stuff that's been told with the nurse at 502, Sarah. That's just, like I said, it's just our opinions on things. But if you can get intelligent responses, whether it be from a piece of equipment or SB7 or a portal, I do agree with Rich. The portal makes it a whole lot easier with the reverb speakers and all that stuff to isolate a lot of background noise and white noise, and you can even put echoes into it, so it basically lasts a little bit longer for your ears to catch. We've got a portal that we've used several times, along with different spirit box. We have used the 7. We've had a couple different apps that we've used on there, which I'm not a big guy on apps, but there is a couple of them out there that, I kind of lean more to on using it with our portal. Of course, we got the Ovilus 5 that we use quite a bit. But
I think I used that I used yours at that hospital in Arkansas that we went to.
Which one was that? Was that
That was the one. I got there late, and then we left early because it was.
Was that the one we stayed hush hush about? We had. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Man, that place, the upstairs in that one area with all the pigeons. Oh my God.
Pigeon poop?
Yeah, the pigeons and pigeon poop, and it was so bad because it was like it stunk really, really bad.
I built 2. Come on, brain. I built 2 scanners, literally shack hacks. I bought 2 different Radio Shack and modified them both so they run wide open and not just station to station.
Right.
I threw one away and I gave the other one away, I think. But the first one,
hey Jeremy,
I hesitate to guess on what it was. The first one was I think it was a 419, but I swear it gave me migraines. And that's the one I threw away. I got so mad at it when it's someplace in the continental United States, I believe. I couldn't tell you where.
Still there?
Yep, I was taking a drink.
Okay, all I see is you smiling. I'm probably frozen.
Well, I'm hearing you. Something's working.
another thing. Well, listen to EVPs. I don't go off of what the person telling me thinks what it's saying, unless without a shadow of a doubt I hear the same thing. Yeah, that's kind of what we do also. Um, and when I'm doing EVP review and I'm doing audio review, I'm sitting there and I'm listening, for anything in there. And, I'll pull it out. If I can't make out kind of what it might be saying, or if it isn't loud enough or isn't long enough, I just don't even mess with it.
Yeah.
Every little sound here and there, every little whisper or whatever, if I can't tell what it's saying, there's no sense of even bringing it out.
Yeah.
If you can't hear it, even when it's amplified or whatever. But tough. Sorry, my kid just came in. Will you shut that door, please? But yeah, that's just me. And I found, I found with like Audacity or whichever audio program you're using to review from, I have, a lot of times you'll have that grid in there. That's basically you're looking for those spikes
Right.
in your flat line. And I'm sitting there, and it helps you're kind of going through the audio a lot quicker because you're looking for those breaks in silence. There's been a few times where I have been doing something and I'm, kind of preoccupied, but I'm still listening. And all of a sudden I hear something, I back up and there's no spike. So I was like, oh my gosh, like how many audio files do I have where there's EVPs, but there's no spike?
That's interesting.
So I have caught EVPs in the where it's supposed to be dead silence in there. So don't always look at just your spikes on that. Let's see. Oh, Miss Mary. She finally did make it.
All the way from Pearl, Mississippi.
All the way from Pearl, Mississippi, which ain't, that far from me. She has been one of our biggest supporters as far as posts and comments and sharing. And
super.
She's been with us for, she's been watching our stuff, I guess, since we went to a house. I'm not going to call it out there, but went to a house many, many years ago. We were actually the first ones there before the other people got in there and basically turned it into, a movie and stuff like that, documentary and all that, and tried to get famous.
Everybody wants that black SUV.
Yeah, everybody wants that fame and fortune. I don't do it to be famous and all that. And we've been contacted, but we've been contacted by several TV show producers and all that, and went through the hoops and everything else, and never did do a series or nothing. They didn't want us. I'm thinking maybe it's because when we did like the intro, the interview video, we made it clear up front that we are investigators. We do love getting the evidence and getting the what we all look for when we're investigating. Some kind of proof. But we're not going to sit there and make up crap. We're not going to say something's paranormal when it's not.
Yeah, that's your kiss of death right there, man.
Yeah. So
they don't want honest people. Honest people get ratings. If you're honest in the paranormal, 80%, 90%, whatever is junk. And you just got to go to whoever and say, look, I'm sorry. We got some noises and we got some eyeballs and we got some these and those, but doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. You know, I get asked all the time. Have you seen anything? Have you heard anything? It's like, especially if I'm just getting back from an investigation somewhere, a guys at the station like, did you catch any ghosts? It's like,
Yeah.
no. You see any ghosts? It's like, no. Heard a few things. Heard some noises. Still got to go through EVPs, blah blah blah. But you know, I enjoy it. The last one we went to was Broken Bow. I know we're kind of getting off topic here a little bit, but Ashley Storm has run Broken Bow for a couple years now, and sadly, she is not renewing her lease. And I think what they told me, what I saw the other day, is they're turning into a living space. So, if you want to investigate the Broken Bow before it's no longer available, you got to get in there before August.
That's Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, it was a really good place too. I enjoyed investigating that place. I got touched for the first time there. So, yeah, I got that one done. But
back to the initial question. SB7 versus SB8, or excuse me, 7 versus 11. If y'all don't know what the difference is, basically, the 7 is one radio and the 11 is two radios, to get real dirt simple.
yeah,
You can run the scans up and down. You can go AM, you can go FM, backwards, forwards. Anything that gives you control over the audio. There's no control over what's coming into it. Now, if I'm holding a radio in my hand, what would you expect me to pick up with that radio? Radio stations, right?
right.
How do we know it's not radio stations?
Hey, Jimmy. Yeah, that's my opinion. Also, and they have the Faraday pouches. We've got a couple of them, but the one we've got don't work.
Yeah, I don't. I built a Faraday cage, and I thought I had it sealed, but it wasn't. And I had to go back and damn near screw it together after I put something in it to completely block out. It's about a foot by a foot by a foot.
Right.
It's made out of an aluminum frame with quarter-inch hardware cloth in it.
Right now, if you were to lock it completely out like that from any signal, who's to say that you're also not locking out any spirit manipulation also?
Well, I'm thinking the opposite. I'm thinking that the broken radios pick up radio stations. And if you close it off so there's no radio stations, then if you get anything at all, it's got to be non-radio stations or potentially paranormal.
Yeah, I've never had much luck with the bag there, Rich. I've put it in there and wrapped it up and all kinds of stuff. I'd still get stuff. And somebody was telling me one time before about a hack on SB7 where you can go in and disconnect the antenna or something. You go in there and do something, and it basically takes out any kind of radio interference at all. And I always thought about, doing that with ours, but I forgot what they actually did to it.
Yeah.
Like unsoldered a wire or something in there. It basically just killed all of it.
What you're going to do is break a broken radio, right?
Yeah, we're going to break a broken radio. Break it even more. So, I don't know. Anybody got any questions?
What? Sorry?
Go ahead.
Oh, I forgot what I was going to say now. I'm old.
I was going to say, has anybody got any questions for us? We got We only got 2 now, so I'm not sure who's all in here. At least on, you know, that up there. Well, we got 6. I'm sorry, we got 6. I'm looking at the likes and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure where we got our SB7. Doyle got it, you know, years ago. He got 2 of them, and well, I got one, and he had one. And one of ours don't work anymore. Something's power wrong with it. And I've opened it up. Funniest spirit box answer you got? Doing good, Jimmy. I'm actually getting what isn't. Oh, okay. I got you. That's Jeremy. We do a wrestling podcast on Wednesday nights. Weirdest, the funniest spirit box. Let me show you that. I don't know. The most memorable, I guess one would be, and we were using the portal at the funeral home, at the old Southern Funeral Home, and the previous owner. It took a couple of years or so to figure out who they were, who was in there, and what we understand, it was a previous owner who had lived on location. He retired from there, sold the business, and but we feel he's there. There's a caretaker that's there who, after retirement, they had to even run him off after retirement to keep him from coming to work. Then there's a female there who we've heard, disembodied voices several times inside the funeral home, and there's supposed to be a couple little girls in there. But we were using the portal in the break room, which used to be it was the first embalming room until they moved stuff around and moved out of the embalming room upstairs. But we got racial slurs through the portal at different areas. 5 different spots, we got the same thing. And we're sitting there looking. I was like, did he say what I think he said? I was like, that's what I heard. So months later, the caretaker's granddaughter had stopped by my house for asking me about martial arts something. Anyway, and she asked me, she's like, so have you heard my granddad over at the funeral home? I was like, he used to work there. I was like, really? I said, well, let me ask you this. What kind of man was he? Oh, he was ornery. I said, how so? Well, he's like old Southern ornery. I was like, that makes sense to me now. If he's old Southern, older guy, sitting there ways back then, it's like, that must be him communicating. Yeah, it'll throw you for a loop there, Rich. That's the only time that I can remember anything like that coming through, was just at the funeral home. Now, Charles Fox and Fox Family Paranormal was there. We actually got his name, Charles Fox, that came through the portal. And what had happened, his uncle had passed away like a couple days before that, or while they were there, or something happened with that, but he passed away. And then this male voice comes to there, calling out Charles Fox. So that was pretty wild.
Jeremy mentioned derogatory remarks. I wasn't there, but a team up here in the Knoxville area. There's a slave graveyard up the road from me. And he says he went there and he was pretty nasty with them. And finally they started responding and they weren't nice. And I said, shit, what'd you expect?
Yeah.
But he was not, based on what he said, he wasn't just provoking, he was tormenting.
Right.
And that's the last time I ever did anything with him.
Yeah. You know, I ain't gonna say that I've never provoked when I started early on. You know, I wasn't getting anything, and it wasn't like I was doing it every single, investigation. But I remember going to West Virginia. No, was it Moundsville?
Moundsville is West Virginia Penitentiary.
Had to be Moundsville State Penitentiary. And there was the Sugar Shack, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Down there, and it was pitch dark. I mean, you couldn't see, nothing in front of your face. And I'm sitting there in the middle of the dark. Of course, we had cameras set up. I went down there by myself, and I was down in Sugar Shack, and I was, trying to get communication and all that, and nothing going on. And so I just started amping up, and just started getting kind of provoking. I said some pretty bad things, prisoners and all that are there. But the only other time I can remember doing is when we were at Bobby Mackey's in the hole. You remember that?
Yeah. I have told a number of people about it.
And I mean, I called that thing everything in the book, and then some. Never got anything. Now, I did hear a female voice down in the basement area, where the changing rooms were, dressing
rooms.
But it was so low on the audio recorder that you couldn't tell what it was. But I remember hearing, female voice in there. But as far as, going back to Jeremy's question there, or comment about derogatory remarks and all that, and it's not uncommon to get curse words, derogatory remarks towards women through some of the spirit box stuff.
Rich clearly did something wrong to the ghost.
Yeah. I was called a jackass this one time. My friend and I started laughing because it really struck us as funny when it happened.
Is it possible that Jeremy is a jackass? I mean, I haven't met him yet, so who knows? Oh,
Jeremy's pretty cool. We get along real well. I first met Jeremy when we were at the temple, paranormal event up there. They were raising money for the Masonic Lodge, and but we met there for the first time, and I don't know, we just kind of hit it off a little bit. I found out that he liked wrestling, and I don't know, out of some late night messaging back and forth about something, and that's how the whole wrestling thing got started. Oh, wrong button. There we go. I was in jail. One of my old teammates got propositioned and wanted to meet with him at a cell for fun. My teammate went up there and got stood up. Maybe
ghost sex is tough.
Yeah. Was that like that one that married a ghost and now they're having a kid, or then got divorced, or some crazy bullshit?
Sick people.
No, I just asked if the harsh sound we heard was "Get Out." Oh, my jet. Yeah. like I said, I've heard derogatory remarks coming over spirit boxes, coming over the portal, coming through the Obelisk 5. Um, I've heard that quite a bit. Especially with Eileen and my wife Rebecca, always on investigating with us. It's not a uncommon thing to them to call out Eileen for what she really is. I give Eileen hell.
I've heard that.
I'm surprised she's not on here tonight. She may be on a podcast herself, because I think ours runs about the same time. She
could be at a Super Bowl party.
Do what?
She could be at a Super Bowl party.
That's true. I forgot Super Bowl is on right now, isn't it?
I don't. It's sometime tonight.
Yeah, I kind of lost interest in the NFL and the football when they did that kneeling stuff. Not to get political and all that, but
yep.
It's like, no.
I watched the NFL for 40 years until that stuff started coming up.
Yeah, lost interest in it. Of course, we don't have cable here at our house. So anything I watch is usually at the fire department, or most of the stuff that we watch is streaming stuff. And I unless my wife is watching a show on Netflix or something like that, I'm tuned out of the TV.
Yeah.
I watch pay-per-views on wrestling, which they ain't called pay-per-views no more. Now it's just a streaming service. Everything's going to streaming, including movies. So anyway, SB7, SB11. From what I understand, the 11 you use AM and FM on that. You were saying something about you can go forwards, backwards, and all that stuff with it.
I think both of them will do that, but I think really that the 11 is like 2 7s in the same box.
Yeah, you can do them at the same time, can't you?
Yeah, I think I haven't used an 11 in years.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I used one. It's just, it's big, bulky.
Yeah.
Looks like an old, huge walkie-talkie. But I always hooked up R7 to a back then, for the Bluetooth speakers, came out really good. Which now, the 7s aren't Bluetooth, but they've got some spirit boxes now that are kind of Bluetooth enabled, I think. But there again, that kind of puts it out there. If you're doing that, then can something else come through that Bluetooth connection? That's not paranormal.
Well, if from a technical standpoint, if we could see all of the electromagnetic waves that are coming through our house and our bodies and our brains, we'd be terrified.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of crap. Unless you're in a mine a mile down, then you're still going to get some stuff. But
it's like, just take, for instance, satellites, or like Dish and Direct and all those satellites. You have a box, in your home, and the box is programmed to catch those signals that are coming down. The signals are all around you.
Yeah.
All the time. And it's just that box is programmed to grab those signals and bring them into your TV.
Which is what a spirit box is doing.
Basically the same thing.
But like you say, if you're under perfect conditions, Bluetooth can do 50 feet, maybe 60. I try to keep it under 30 because it gets iffy based on conditions.
Yeah.
But your point of how much is it going to pick up in between? We had a spot in Ashmore Estates up in Illinois or Indiana. I forgot what state it's in. Thank you, Mary Jo.
Thank you.
I'm interested, but I'm not going to watch the damn game.
No. I'm pulling for the Chiefs. Only reason is because my uncle's a big Chiefs fan.
I'm just a fan of everybody in the middle of the country. Long story. Well, what?
You get tired of seeing the same, same ones winning all the time.
So if there's all this EM static, electromagnetic static, call it whatever you want, that encompasses everything, that affects two key devices. That's any kind of not decent EMF gauge. It's also going to terrorize any kind of receiver. That's number one. I don't know what ghosts are.
Right.
Number two, I don't know what they're made up of. I don't know how they communicate. So for me to say I can guarantee you that this device I've got will listen to ghosts, that's an iffy thing with me. And my big test was I let my wife watch 2 or 3 of the standard ghost hunter fare that's on network television. And they always put the words up about the same time they put the EVP up.
Right.
And she says, I know you told me that that's suggestive and they shouldn't do that, but that's not even close to what they said. So, like you said before, 2 different people getting 2 completely different answers from the same source.
Well, I've seen, I don't call names out, and it's nobody that I associate with. So, but I remember a team that was doing a residential investigation, which, if you're doing a residential investigation, then don't put videos out. I'm sure they got permission or whatever, but residential investigation. Now we did a residential. We did a video and actually released it out, but we got permission and all that. Plus, she was a good friend of ours. Actually, she's on our team now, but she's been kind of inactive for a couple of years now. But another story, another time. I remember seeing a video of this group, and they had the SB7 going. It's loud and noisy, and you hear something, come across like, oh my God, it said your name, blah blah blah. I was like, I said, how can you get that little bit of the stuff that came through besides static as an actual name? So I'm sitting there listening, to the video, and I do my counting in my head, and it's coming back around again, saying, all right, it's 30 seconds in, all right, another 30 seconds, I heard something again, another, 31, 32 seconds, I heard it again. It's like, that's a radio signal.
Yeah.
That's not paranormal. But they were pushing it out there as being, spirit manipulation and them talking. I'm like, to each his own. Me, I'm very skeptical, not of the paranormal, but of my evidence that I present. I mean, it's got to be, we go through a big, debunking process. Take for instance Waverly Hills. When we went there and Troy caught that video, down at Hall. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And we sit there, it's like, oh my God, that, we're sitting there looking at it was pictures. It's like, oh my God, that's like fantastic. We were all excited and hyped up.
Sure.
And then, a couple of days later, we get home. It's like, got bad news. I said, I debunked it. It's not a nurse. It's not the nurse, crossing the hallway. It's a combination of the paint chipping and this desk and this and that. I was like, well, crap. I said, it's good that you got, clarification of it,
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking to get, those things that are speculated paranormal, and then one of us debunk it. I was like, well, crap. You know, and it's
Well,
happened. It's
I think
happened.
that's
many
part of our
times.
job, really. If we're going
Yeah,
to assume the role of a investigator slash researcher, then we have to do our best to eliminate the easy stuff.
right.
And like you said, all you got to do is watch a few YouTube videos, and you go, "Where did you get that?" Or
Yeah,
you watch the shows, and they'll find a way to string all the EVPs together into some sort of story that they believe
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. Patricia knows what I'm talking about. Now, not to say that Waverly Hills is not haunted. Yeah, it definitely is. Um, and hopefully they'll get all that stuff sorted out legal wise, so we can start maybe investigating again there one day.
I won't go back to Waverly, just like I won't go back to South Pittsburgh. I disagree with what's been done. I've been to Waverly 4 times over the last 15 years. And I think, if I didn't lose count, I've been to Oak South 37 times, maybe. I think that's
Where
the
at?
number. But we did, like 54-hour research weekends and stuff like that. And we learned a lot. We tested a lot of ideas. And I don't see people taking it that seriously anymore. Everybody wants the shortcut to the black SUV.
Well, I would love to go maybe after I retire, which I don't have but 7.5 years left till I retire from the fire department. Maybe once I'm retired and my wife is one day retired, or we win the lottery or something like that. Um, I would like to go to mine and Dole's big idea was to get an RV and basically turn it into a mobile unit and just drive from location to location and spend. And of course, we'd have to be rich to do it.
Yeah.
But considering I don't buy any lottery tickets, I don't think I'm going to win the lottery anytime soon.
Me too. That's the bad thing about understanding statistics is I know I'll never win.
Yeah. But, we always joked about that. Going and we could we pay somebody to drive us. They sell our stuff. All we got to do is go and investigate.
Just like Destination Fear, the big motorhome pulls up and drops you off and comes back and gets you.
Yeah. So, but I would like to do some traveling whenever I retire, and me and my wife have talked about this, about going, getting an RV and putting a Jeep behind it and just driving cross country in different places. We get tired of being at one place, we'll pack up and go somewhere else.
Yep.
So we could very well at that point in time, hit some of these locations and investigate for several days at one spot, because there's only so much time you have at a location to really investigate, because most everything is time strict on stuff. That's one thing that we always pushed with the funeral home or the jails, like especially the funeral homes. Like, I don't want people to come in and say, "All right, you got 12 hours. You got to be here at this time. You got to leave at this time." I was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very, I don't know. I can't think of the word, but anyway, with people coming in, it's like, look, you got it for, if you're booked on this day, so you're booked on a Saturday. So what time can we get there? It's like, you can get there at 8 o'clock in the morning if you want to. I said, you don't have to leave till, 12, around 12 noonish, on Sunday. So you got plenty of time to come in, set up, go to Walmart, get snacks, whatever, investigate that night, go to dinner, come back. You stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning if you want to, sleep in and pack up and leave, the next day. So it's very, we always ran it to where, what do we want out of a location when we go somewhere? So it's a little different than just being somebody that's looking for, to make a buck, which, we didn't hardly make anything off of that. We paid, the rent for the place and all that. So, and the upkeep is basically what any kind of money we made from it, we kept it for upkeep.
Sure.
So, we ain't had nobody there in quite a while.
There's a group that I go out with occasionally, and we only will take a minimum of 2 days. We won't take anything less than that, and we don't want to sleep outside. We want a place where we can sleep in, and those are getting harder and harder to find. But with the big places, but the smaller places don't realize that there's people that want to do what we do.
Right.
Going in at 8 and coming out at 3, that's BS. That's not even investigating. That's just running around in circles with some equipment and then leaving. And if you go to someplace often enough, I am absolutely convinced that location recognizes you after a while. I've had things happen to me at South Pittsburgh that have never happened to me anyplace else. Very clearly.
I agree on that. Coming from somebody that ran a location for, a couple of years, of course, like I said, we still got the jail. But the jail was Dole's spot. He was very excited about the jail. Not to say that I was not.
Yeah.
I was. But between the two, Dole loved the jail. I love the funeral home. Something always drew me to the funeral home, even before we started, opening up for investigations. Because I stayed on Dole for months, about 6 months, look, it's empty. Just because he knew the guy that owned it, like, just call him. All he can do is say no.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, we wound up getting it and doing that. But something drew me to the funeral home all the time. And of course, after he passed, it was like me and my wife were now, she stepped up at that point in time when he passed to help with the group and all that stuff. And the funeral home itself, I got very attached to the spirits there. And when it came time to start moving our stuff out, it's like, all right, we'll get our stuff out this weekend. I called in Eileen and Rebecca, and Eileen's husband came down, and didn't realize how much stuff we had in there until it took a couple trips, loading the back of my truck. And now over here in my office is like the funeral home stuff is sitting over here, all the cameras and wires and all that stuff. We got a lot of stuff packed up, but as I'm cleaning stuff out and moving the stuff out, it's like it really started to hit me. I first got there, it wasn't that big a deal, but as I'm starting to move stuff out, it's starting to affect me because it's like a second home that I can't go back to. There's people there that I can't communicate with anymore. And Eileen was looking at me and was like, a lot harder than you thought it was. I said, yeah, it's sad. Yeah. And of course the new owners, they basically bought it, and and it's kind of I'm sad, to not offer that to community and not be able to go to investigate and stuff like that and communicate I'll talk with the spirits there, the people there. But at the same time, I'm happy that somebody has bought it and they're going to fix it up. So it's not going to be, because there was a really big problem with the roof for years. And now that they've bought it, they're fixing it up, and they're basically turning it into a working funeral home again. And so that makes me feel good that the building is going to get taken care of, and the spirits there are not going to wind up losing their home
Yeah.
to get eventually get demolished and everything. So it's a good thing on that side of it. And I talked with the ladies there that had bought the place, and it's funny. It's like, I said, what was all that? Because they were there while we were moving stuff out, taking stuff down. It's like, so let me get this right. Y'all ran a haunted house attraction? He was like, no. I was like, we did a paranormal investigations here. Like, oh, we heard it was a haunted house. It's like, no. And then we got to talking back and forth and about it, and of course they were saying this and that, and I said, well, look, I'm gonna go upstairs and make sure I got everything out upstairs, and I'm gonna talk to them upstairs and let them know what's going on, because I even let them know spirits what was going on before we had started moving stuff out.
Yep.
I was like, look, we got new owners coming in, they're going to fix the place up and keep it going. I said, y'all play nice. So don't be scaring people and all that. They're going to make sure that your home is secure and all that. So y'all play nice. And I told the new lady that. I was like, I said, I've even told her, I was like, it's really disheartening. And I was like, I'm very connected to the spirits there. I said, well, look, anytime you want to come back and talk to them, you're more than welcome. I said, well, that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So I was like, if you start experiencing things and some craziness starts happening, just call me up and I'll come back and talk to them and get them to calm down. So far, I haven't had any communication from there. But yeah. So I guess SB7, SB11 Spirit Box. Your final thoughts on yes, no, possibly.
I think they are so fraught with potential problems that, not to mention the fact that they're a pain in the ear. There's just too many variables, and we don't really know what we're listening for. I think pareidolia fits into it. I think we can imagine things. It just, and I heard the thing I didn't. I forgot where I posted it. I think I put it in Southern. My mind just went blank, so I guess I didn't. Like I said, I had 2 handmade ones that I tossed and never even considered getting another one. I've got a relatively elaborate dual mic. Actually, it's 4 mics and an expensive recorder. And that's what I use for EVP. I can, sadly or good, a car can drive by a mile away and I can tell you if it's a V8 or a V6.
Yeah.
It's just that sensitive. And I depend on that now. If it's audible, that device will catch it.
Yeah. With me on the SB7 or 11, Spirit Box, I believe there's too much possible interference to come in, and I think, I don't know, it's kind of like another piece of equipment, any piece of equipment that you can have outside interference. You got to be able to own up to the possibility of it being something else before you just automatically claim that a spirit is communicating through there.
Yeah.
So I ain't gonna say that they can't. I'm not gonna say they can. But as investigator, like you and some of the other people and groups we associate with, which is we're very careful, or we've been very careful who we kind of associated with and investigated with for a long time because of past bad experiences.
Yep.
So the people that we do investigate with, like you and Chris, Beth, Eileen. I'm sorry if I'm missing anybody. I got a big. Our paranormal family has grown over the past couple of years by a good bit. But Ernie and Pac-Man Paranormal, the SQs, Beth Allen. I'm sorry if I'm missing anybody out there, but it's good people that I consider part of our family, as opposed to just friends. I got friends in the paranormal, but there's some that I consider family, and we've been in investigations together, and they think like-minded.
Yeah.
They want the real stuff. They're not going to bullshit. Throw some bullshit paranormal out there. So, with some. I mean, there's a lot out there that just want to put out anything possible as paranormal. Dust orbs and just anything possible. And they say they fake stuff, but they, construed as anything out of the ordinary is paranormal. Yeah. And it's just not my belief, and I'm not doing anybody any justice, or we're not doing anybody any justice by throwing that stuff out there. No. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I see on Facebook or Reddit or just what have you on social media that I know is, BS. And there's also stuff that we get from time to time, pictures and videos and audio and all that. They ask my opinion of it, and I'll give them my opinion, my honest opinion of it. Now, if they post something on Southern Paranormal or like that, hey, what do y'all think about this? Or I'll see it on another page or something like that. I'll be like, oh, that's a good catch.
Yeah.
I want to critique your stuff because I don't know the situation.
Yep.
How it was when you were there.
Right.
So who am I to say that your stuff's fake when I wasn't there at the location at that time? I don't know the whole stipulations around capturing that audio or capturing that video or photo. So.
And if they use the words cleaned up with an EVP, then I definitely don't listen to them.
Yeah, I was never big. Doyle kind of cleaned up some in his day. I like the raw EVP. Now, if I did anything, most of the time he didn't do anything but amplify. He wouldn't try to manipulate, anything in there. But I always like the raw stuff. Well, I think we're running over a little bit. I think maybe somebody may be behind us, which I think they can still launch even while we're live. So,
yeah, I believe so.
But anyway, talk about different topics for next show. Of course, we don't have a set time just yet in date. Just kind of how our schedules work out. Because I work.
It's kind of a new network, and they're still balancing their schedules.
Yeah, it's kind of how we're working, and we got this time slot from what I understand. On Sundays from 6 to 7 or 7 to 8 Eastern. We're in Central Time, or I'm in Central Time. So anyway, I never wanted to do one a week. My schedule's not going to allow it because there are some Sundays where I work. But I was thinking once or twice a month, at best. I know it's been since January, or actually January 1st when we did our episode 2 for New Year's. But anyway, next topic, I guess we can talk. I would like to talk about EMF, K2s. We can kind of throw some and get some discussion, open discussion on that as well on the next show. Eventually, I want to get some special guests on here. If we can line some people up,
Sure.
I would love to get Kyle and Gavin and my wife, and get some people that you're investigating with now, and maybe get some of our family, paranormal family, in here too. If we can get some of the Fallen Shadows and Heaven Forsake.
I was sitting here trying to remember their name. Thank you. I just think of them as the Northwest Georgia group. I forgot their name.
That happens to me too. You still have a Third Eye Paranormal Facebook page and all that stuff out there?
Never had a Facebook page, and my
Actually, speak of the devil.
He said it, I didn't, Ash, okay? I wouldn't talk about you like he did.
Good, Ash. We were just discussing you guys.
There's a difference between forgotten and my brain is stuck, okay?
No, you're not forgotten. Believe me, you're not forgotten. I miss investigating. Yeah.
We were actually talking about that before the show.
Yeah, we were talking, and I think I'm lagging a little bit. I don't think it's Dr. Jim there. He's froze with his mouth open on my screen right now.
Well, my mouth is often open.
But yeah, we got to get together sometime and do an investigation again. The old crew.
Need to go back to that cave.
Yeah. He contacted me last year sometime. Was asking me about the evidence. Like, we never really got too much from there. Now, we had some experiences out there, especially taking a group of high school students on a couple hunts in the next few months. So that's cool. But being on that mountaintop, and we're up there doing EVP sessions and stuff at that cave entrance, and then bugs and all that stuff's going on, and all of a sudden everything in the woods shuts up all at once. I'm like, that's some weird stuff.
I've talked to, 24 people that have lived in this area, because I'm 2.5 hours north of there. But I've asked all the old guys. I said, what would cause that to happen? And none of them knew. I hope so.
I can contact Mr. Parrott and see if he would mind us coming back up and setting something up. I would like to do something. Maybe fall would be a good time, because then all the snakes and critters will be going underground, being there in the woods and the little mountainside there. I'd love to go down in that cave.
Yeah.
Last time we went, it was it just rained and all. Yeah, I remember that.
That's right. Ash came over with Donnie from South Pittsburgh. Ronnie, not Donnie.
Ronnie.
It's her and Ronnie and somebody else, it seems like.
Yeah, there was somebody else there too. That was the first time we met Ronnie. But yeah, I'll see if I can remember. I'll write it down so I won't forget. But I'll see if I can't get up with Parrott and see if we can't set up something for the fall. Daniel Dorsey. Yeah, we got invited over to. I thinking you had something going on that day. You couldn't make it. But we went to not Sorority House. What's the name up? Red Bowling Springs. The house up at Red Bowling Springs. Thomas House. We invited up to Thomas House and kind of surprised. Me and my wife were there, and Ashley come in and got kind of surprised. She was like, she walked in because we're sitting down in the chair in the main lobby area. I was like, "Hey," she went, "Oh, hey," and they're like, "What?"
Oh.
And my better half has just popped in.
Who are you going with?
Dr. Jim.
Hi, Dr. Jim.
Howdy.
And Ashley popped in.
Hey, Ash.
Trisha. Jeremy's been in. We've had quite a few on tonight talking about SB7s and 11s.
Oh, dear.
So why don't you throw your 2 cents in on SB7, SB11? We've already gave our opinions.
Well, I don't like them because they talk weird to me.
No, that's the obvious. But kind of going. Miss you too, Ash. But kind of going back to that, derogatory comments coming across the Spirit Box or SB7, not SB7, Spirit Box or SB7s or
You don't want to do this on video, dude.
Yeah. I don't need evidence. But SB7, 11 or Obelisk 5, getting derogatory remarks towards women and all on there. Yeah. I'm wanting to say that we used the 7 at the funeral home when y'all came down and did the Estes method with it. And I may be wrong. It may have been something else that we used when we got Sorry Brother that came across the whatever they were using, because they had noise canceling headset on. And it was kind of the thing you were talking about earlier about, I posted something about Doyle. Was like, Doyle's still around. He's been on a couple different investigations with me. He was at Broken Bow. I have no doubt in my mind he was at Broken Bow, because when we were packing up to leave, I said, "Look, we're going somewhere, Doyle." I said, "I don't know where we're going." I said, "But tag along, come with us." And there's no doubt in my mind, because Ashley Storm was sitting there, and we were that before the investigation, we were there, touring the place and blah blah blah. And she started using dowsing rods. Did a couple dowsing rod things, and I'm sitting there, using. It's like, are you holding real tight? It's like, yeah, because they're saying you're like holding them too tight or something. So I loosen my grip up, and she says, they're here, but there's somebody else here that doesn't reside here. And of course, I knew in my mind, my wife did too. It's like, Dole's here. So I started communicating with Dole with the dowsing rods and got some good stuff on it. But it was just a personal, experience. It wasn't nothing, we were trying to document or nothing. But anyway, he's still around. You went quiet.
Me?
Maybe it was just me freezing up. Yeah, my kids may be on the internet and maybe doing all kind of streaming or not streaming, but video gaming or watching TV or something on there. But I guess we're gonna get get off here. We've been going for about an hour and 15 minutes. We try not to stretch them out too far over our time limit. It was a good conversation, good discussion. Appreciate everybody coming in and communicating with us and asking questions, and nothing other than just viewing if that's your preference. I appreciate it, Rich, Ash, and everybody else. Patricia, Miss Mary. Who else was here? Jeremy was in for a minute and back and forth. And somebody else. Nick. Yeah, Nick's a good guy. He's from up in Memphis. He comes down. He's supposed to be coming down. Nick's supposed to be coming down doing the jail soon for his birthday and all coming up. So anyway, you got anything you want to close with, Dr. Jim?
Just glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here too. I'm glad you finally made a show.
It's one way to see old friends, I guess.
Yeah, back when I was a teenager, they started coming out as like, futuristic, talking on the phone and actually see the person on the screen is like. But I was like, that's some crazy stuff. Now it's like, it's a common thing now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Who knows what we'll have in the next 50 years?
I can't even imagine.
I'll be dead by then, but,
I won't.
You won't?
I've got too much left to do, man.
I'll still be around. You just want to be able to see me in my human form, or my bodily form, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
But I got some people I want to haunt. I'm going to stay around. Ashley will know if I'm around. She'll just go, and I'll be there. That's an inside joke. Anyway. Well, I appreciate everybody coming on tonight, and that's what I was about to say. Yeah. She knows what I'm talking about. I'll smell you. That's a story for another time. But anyway, appreciate everybody coming on tonight, and be looking for a post, and if y'all will share this video and all, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Ciao, y'all.